Welcome to Jersey Reads the Classics, an audiobook podcast delving into the finest works of our literary masters. Unfortunately, it's read by this woman.
What the hell? Who cares? Let's go on an adventure.
Hello, and welcome back to Jersey Reads the Classics with me, your host, Rosie DeCandia. So, my friends, you know the drill. Let's continue with our book, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum. And now we proceed to Chapter 11, The Wonderful City of Oz. Ooh, yes! Even with eyes protected by the green spectacles, Dorothy and her friends were at first dazzled by the brilliancy of the wonderful city. The streets were lined with beautiful houses, all built of green marble and studded everywhere with sparkling emeralds. Sounds like my kind of city. You know what I mean? I do love me some sequins. I love anything glitzy. I hate to say it. Maybe I'm making a stereotype, but us Italian chicks from Jersey, from the East Coast, we like all that glitz and glam. I'm not going to lie. I've said it before and I'll say it again. And I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with that. It's okay. Sometimes you just got to know who you are. They walked over a pavement of the same green marble, and where the blocks were joined together were rows of emeralds, oh God, set closely and glittering in the brightness of the sun. The window panes were of green glass. Even the sky above the city had a green tint, and the rays of the sun were green. Now, I may have mentioned it in the last episode, I don't remember, but they're wearing these green glasses. The rose-tinted glasses. These are green-tinted glasses. Why can't they take the glasses off? Because it's so brilliant? Yeah, still suspect, my friends. I'm still thinking this is very suspect. That's all I'm saying, and that's all I'm saying. There were many people, men, women, and children walking about, and these were all dressed in green clothes and had greenish skins. They looked at Dorothy and her strangely assorted company with wondering eyes, and the children all ran away and hid behind their mothers when they saw the lion, but no one spoke to them. Many shops stood in the street, and Dorothy saw that everything in them was green. Green candy and green popcorn were offered for sale, as well as green shoes, green hats, and green clothes of all sorts. At one place, a man was selling green lemonade, and when the children bought it, Dorothy could see that they paid for it with green pennies. There seemed to be no horses nor animals of any kind. The men carried things around in little green carts, which they pushed before them. Everyone seemed happy and contented and prosperous. Isn't that funny? Prosperous. And what is the color of money, my friends? Green. But people usually are green with envy. Think about all the times what green is associated with, right? Money, envy. We know that's the color of an emerald. St. Patty's Day. Hello, because it's the shamrock, right? Because the shamrock's green. Okay. The guardian of the gates led them through the streets until they came to a big building exactly in the middle of the city, which was the Palace of Oz, the Great Wizard. There was a soldier before the door, dressed in a green uniform and wearing a long green beard. "Here are strangers," said the guardian of the gates to him, "and they demand to see the Great Oz." "Step inside," answered the soldier, "and I will carry your message to him." So they passed through the palace gates and were led into a big room with a green carpet and lovely green furniture set with emeralds. Jeez Louise. The soldier made them all wipe their feet upon a green mat before entering this room. And when they were seated, he said politely, "Please make yourselves comfortable while I go to the door of the throne room and tell Oz you are here." They had to wait a long time before the soldier returned. When at last he came back, Dorothy asked, "Have you seen Oz?" "Oh, no," returned the soldier. "I have never seen him, but I spoke to him as he sat behind a screen and gave him your message. So you've been working for this motherfucker all these years and you never seen him? But yet you work for this guy, but no one's ever seen the guy. Are you kidding me? I'd have an uprising. I'd be like, we need to know who this Great Oz is. And what is he doing for them? And why are they all so prosperous? I'd like to know that. What do they all do that they're so prosperous? I'm asking so many questions. This is all I do. He said he will grant you an audience if you so desire, but each one of you must enter his presence alone, and he will admit but one each day. Therefore, as you must remain in the palace for several days, I will have you shown to rooms where you may rest in comfort after your journey." "Nice. I wonder if this is like the Bellagio." "Thank you," replied the girl. "That is very kind of Oz." The soldier now blew upon a green whistle, and at once a young girl, dressed in a pretty green silk gown, entered the room. She had lovely green hair and green eyes, and she bowed low before Dorothy as she said, "Follow me, and I will show you to your room." So Dorothy said goodbye to all her friends except Toto, and taking the dog in her arms, followed the green girl through 7 passages and up 3 flights of stairs until they came to a room at the front of the palace. It was the sweetest little room in the world, with a soft, comfortable bed that had sheets of green silk and a green velvet counterpane. Oh, this is lush. There was a tiny fountain in the middle of the room that shot a spray of green perfume into the air to fall back into a beautifully carved green marble basin. I really do feel like I am at the Bellagio. What the hell is going on here? They really are prosperous. So it's like, I would just want to see the friggin' Oz just so I can stay in the friggin' hotel. Good Lord, I wonder how these people live like this. I'm moving to Oz. Beautiful green flowers stood in the windows, and there was a shelf with a row of little green books. When Dorothy had time to open these books, she found them full of queer green pictures that made her laugh. They were so funny. In a wardrobe were many green dresses made of silk and satin and velvet, and all of them fitted Dorothy exactly. Who wouldn't like that? Hello. "Make yourself perfectly at home," said the green girl, "and if you wish for anything, ring the bell. Oz will send for you tomorrow morning." Let me tell you something. After this long journey they've had, good for them. They're going to be, they are hooked up, okay? Like, Dorothy's probably like, "Damn, I hope I could stay here for a while." Oh, I forget, she wants to go home. Okay, it's like the city of Oz is probably like Vegas. What happens in the city of Oz stays in the city of Oz. She left Dorothy alone and went back to the others. These she also led to rooms, and each one of them found himself lodged in a very pleasant part of the palace. Of course, this politeness was wasted on the Scarecrow, for when he found himself alone in his room, he stood stupidly in one spot just within the doorway to wait till morning. Oh, poor Scarecrow can't do anything. Poor guy. It would not rest him to lie down, and he could not close his eyes. So he remained all night staring at a little spider which was weaving its web in the corner of the room, just as if it were not one of the most wonderful rooms in the world. The Tin Woodman lay down in his bed from force of habit, for he remembered when he was made of flesh. But not being able to sleep, he passed the night moving his joints up and down to make sure they kept in good working order. Look at him doing exercises like Richard Simmons. The lion would have preferred a bed of dried leaves in the forest and did not like being shut up in a room, but he had too much sense to let this worry him. So he sprang upon the bed and rolled himself up like a cat and purred himself asleep in a minute. The next morning after breakfast, the Green Maiden came to fetch Dorothy, and she dressed her in one of the prettiest gowns made of green brocaded satin. Dorothy put on a green silk apron and tied a green ribbon around Toto's neck, and they started for the throne room of the Great Oz. First, they came to a great hall in which were many ladies and gentlemen of the court, all dressed in rich costumes. These people had nothing to do but talk to each other. I wouldn't mind that job, to get dressed up all day in a gorgeous gown and just hang out in the throne room. It's like, the courtiers to the queens, right? Her little court, and they sit around all day and they're like, "Yes, Your Majesty, yes, Your Majesty." But these people don't have to do anything. They just talk to each other. But they always came to visit outside the throne room every morning, although they were never permitted to see Oz. As Dorothy entered, they looked at her curiously, and one of them whispered, "Are you really going to look upon the face of Oz the Terrible?" "Of course," answered the girl, "if he will see me." "Oh, he will see you," said the soldier who had taken a message to the wizard, "although he does not like to have people ask to see him. Indeed, at first he was angry and said I should send you back where you came from. Then he asked me what you looked like, and when I mentioned your silver shoes, he was very much interested. At last I told him about the mark upon your forehead, and he decided he would admit you to his presence." Oh, so look at him sussing her out. It's like a dating website, right? He's like, "So what does she look like? What does she look like? Tell me, tell me, tell me. Tell me, tell me, tell me." Really? Okay. See the silver shoes and the mark upon her head is getting her entrance. It's like her ticket. She's got 2 tickets to paradise. All right, let me just go back into the whatever. Oh my God. Just then a bell rang, and the green girl said to Dorothy, "That is the signal. You must go into the throne room alone." She opened a little door, and Dorothy walked boldly through and found herself in a wonderful place. It was a big round room with a high arched roof, and the walls and ceiling and floor were covered with large emeralds set closely together. In the center of the roof was a great light as bright as the sun, which made the emeralds sparkle in a wonderful manner. Whew. But what interested Dorothy most was the big throne of green marble that stood in the middle of the room. It was shaped like a chair and sparkled with gems, as did everything else. In the center of the chair was an enormous head, without a body to support it or any arms or legs whatever. There was no hair upon his head, but it had eyes and a nose and a mouth, and was much bigger than the head of the biggest giant. As Dorothy gazed upon this in wonder and fear, the eyes turned slowly and looked at her sharply and steadily. Then the mouth moved, and Dorothy heard a voice say, "I am Oz, the great and terrible. Who are you, and why do you seek me?" It was not such an awful voice that she had expected to come from the big head, so she took courage and answered, "I am Dorothy, the small and meek. I have come to you for help." The eyes looked at her thoughtfully for a minute. Then said the voice, "Where did you get the silver shoes?" It's all about the silver shoes. He wants a pair of them silver shoes. I bet you he's got emerald encrusted shoes. "I got them from the Wicked Witch of the East when my house fell on her and killed her," she replied. "Where did you get the mark upon your forehead?" continued the voice. It's got a lot of questions, huh? "That is where the Good Witch of the North kissed me when she bade me goodbye and sent me to you," said the girl. Again the eyes looked at her sharply, and they saw she was telling the truth. Then Oz asked, "What do you wish me to do?" "Send me back to Kansas, where my Aunt Em and Uncle Henry are," she answered earnestly. "I don't like your country, although it is so beautiful. I am sure Aunt Em will be dreadfully worried over my being away so long." The eyes winked 3 times, and then they turned up to the ceiling and down to the floor and rolled around so queerly that they seemed to see every part of the room, and at last they looked at Dorothy again. "Why should I do this for you?" asked Oz. "How rude. It's a little girl. Because you are strong and I am weak. Because you are a great wizard and I am only a little girl. She knows how to play him." That was a good answer. Good answer. Good answer, Dorothy. Even if she's not doing it, she's being smart enough to know to stroke his ego. Because obviously with his big fat head, it's all ego there. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. "But you were strong enough to kill the Wicked Witch of the East," said Oz. "That's a good point, too. Okay. They're having a good banter." "That just happened," returned Dorothy simply. "I could not help it." "Well," said the head, "I will give you my answer. You have no right to expect me to send you back to Kansas unless you do something for me in return. In this country, everyone must pay for everything he gets. If you wish me to use my magic power to send you home again, you must do something for me first. Help me, and I will help you." There is no such thing as a free lunch. We know that saying, right? When they say you're never getting something for free, even with the great Oz. He is terrible, isn't he? "What must I do?" asked the girl. "Kill the Wicked Witch of the West," answered Oz. "But I cannot," exclaimed Dorothy, greatly surprised. "You kill the Witch of the East, and you wear the silver shoes, which bear a powerful charm. There is now but one Wicked Witch left in all this land, and when you can tell me she is dead, I will send you back to Kansas. But not before." The little girl began to weep. She was so much disappointed, and the eyes winked again and looked upon her anxiously, as if the great Oz felt that she could help him if she would. "I never killed anything willingly," she sobbed. "Even if I wanted to, how could I kill the Wicked Witch? If you, who are great and terrible, cannot kill her yourself, how do you expect me to do it?" This girl is a smart little bitch. I love it. She's bringing up some good points. They're both bringing up good points. I'm going to be honest. For a little girl and him, they're having some adult conversation, which I love in these books because these kids are never treated like babies. They're intelligent they're just smaller in physical sense human beings, and I love it. They're having a good banter, they're having a good conversation, and they're bringing up good points. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie at all. I'm impressed with this. I'm very impressed. Okay. I do not know, said the head, but that is my answer. And until the wicked witch dies, you will not see your uncle and aunt again. Remember that the witch is wicked, tremendously wicked, and ought to be killed. Now, go. And do not ask to see me again until you have done your task. Jesus Christ, man. This guy needs to chill out. I mean, have a little bit of heart. He could use a heart. Sorrowfully, Dorothy left the throne room and went back with the lion and the scarecrow, and the Tin Woodman were waiting to hear what Oz had said to her. There is no hope for me, she said sadly, for Oz will not send me home until I have killed the Wicked Witch of the West, and that I can never do. Her friends were sorry, but could do nothing to help her. So Dorothy went to her own room and lay down in the bed and cried herself to sleep. Who hasn't cried themselves to sleep? I've done that many times. That was many years ago. Okay. The next morning, the soldier with the green whiskers came to the scarecrow and said, "Come with me, for Oz has sent for you." So the scarecrow followed him and was admitted into the great throne room, where he saw, sitting in the emerald throne, a most lovely lady. Lovely lady! She was dressed in green silk gauze and wore upon her flowing green locks a crown of jewels. Growing from her shoulders were wings, gorgeous in color and so light that they fluttered if the slightest breath of air reached them. Was she an angel? When the scarecrow had bowed as prettily as his straw stuffing would let him before this beautiful creature, she looked upon him sweetly and said, "I am Oz, the great and terrible. Who are you, and why do you seek me?" Oh, damn. Now he's nice. Oz is now this gorgeous woman talking to the scarecrow nicely. Couldn't do that for poor Dorothy. Now the scarecrow, who had expected to see the great head Dorothy had told him of, was much astonished. But he answered her bravely, "I am only a scarecrow, stuffed with straw. Therefore, I have no brains, and I come to you praying that you will put brains in my head instead of straw, so that I may become as much a man as any other in your dominions." "Why should I do this for you?" asked the lady. "Because you are wise and powerful, and no one else can help me," answered the scarecrow. "I never grant favors without some return," said Oz. "But this much I will promise. If you will kill for me the Wicked Witch of the West, I will bestow upon you a great many brains, and such good brains that you will be the wisest man in all the land of Oz." Which at this point is not the biggest compliment. That's all I'm going to say, because they're all following this Oz that no one's seen. But then again, they are smart enough because they're like, screw it. We're all prosperous. We don't got to do anything. And we're living in the merry old land of Oz. Well, it's actually Emerald City, but I digress. Okay. "I thought you asked Dorothy to kill the witch," said the scarecrow in surprise. "So I did. I don't care who kills her. But until she is dead, I will not grant your wish. Now go, and do not seek me again until you have earned the brains you so greatly desired." These kids, oof, not easy. The scarecrow went sorrowfully back to his friends and told them what Oz had said. And Dorothy was surprised to find that the great wizard was not a head, and as she had seen him, but a lovely lady. "All the same," said the scarecrow, "she needs a heart as much as the Tin Woodman." On the next morning, the soldier with the green whiskers came to the Tin Woodman and said, "Oz has sent for you. Follow me." So the Tin Woodman followed him and came to the great throne room. He did not know whether he would find Oz, a lovely lady, or a head, but he hoped it would be the lovely lady. For, he said to himself, "If it is the head, I am sure I shall not be given a heart, since a head has no heart of its own and therefore cannot feel for me. But if it is the lovely lady, I shall beg hard for a heart, for all ladies are themselves said to be kindly-hearted." That ain't true, but I like that he likes to put that stereotype. But when the woodman entered the great throne room, he saw neither the head nor the lady, for Oz had taken the shape of a most terrible beast. It was nearly as big as an elephant, and the green throne seemed hardly strong enough to hold its weight. The beast had a head like that of a rhinoceros, only there were 5 eyes in its face. There were 5 long arms growing out of its body, and it also had 5 long, slim legs. Thick woolly hair covered every part of it, and a more dreadful-looking monster could not be imagined. Remember the collie dons that were bears and tigers to death together? So now this poor guy's getting a beast. Oh my God, poor... These guys are... There's nothing but surprises around the corner for these kids. That's all I have to say. It was fortunate the Tin Woodman had no heart at the moment, for it would have beat loud and fast from terror. But being only tin, the Woodman was not at all afraid, although he was much disappointed. "I am Oz, the great and terrible," spoke the beast in a voice that was one great roar. "Who are you, and why do you seek me?" "I am a woodman, and made of tin. Therefore I have no heart, and cannot love. I pray you to give me a heart, that I may be as other men are." "Why should I do this?" demanded the beast. "Because I ask it, and you alone can grant my request," answered the woodman. Oz gave a low growl at this, but said gruffly, "If you indeed desire a heart, you must earn it." "How?" asked the woodman. "Help Dorothy to kill the Wicked Witch of the West," replied the beast. "When the witch is dead, come to me, and I will then give you the biggest and kindest and most loving heart in all the land of Oz." Well, we know that Oz doesn't have it. So the Tin Woodman was forced to return sorrowfully to his friends and tell them of the terrible beast he had seen. They all wondered greatly at the many forms the great wizard could take upon himself. And the lion said, "If he is a beast, when I go to see him, I shall roar my loudest and so frighten him that he will grant all I ask. And if he is the lovely lady, I shall pretend to spring upon her and so compel her to do my bidding. And if he is the great head, he will be at my mercy, for I will roll his head all about the room until he promises to give us what we desire. So be of good cheer, my friends, for all will yet be well." Dun 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 dun. But we know the Oz is not going to be the same things because he's been forewarned. We don't know what he's going to appear to the lion, but I do love how the lion is being courageous and it's like, "I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and screw him and we're going to get our wishes met." Well, we have a feeling that's not going to happen, obviously, all right? Because there's no 3 without a 4. I know that's not the saying, but in this book it has to be. Okay. The next morning, the soldier with the green whiskers led the lion to the great throne room and bade him enter the presence of Oz. The lion at once passed through the door and, glancing around, saw, to his surprise, that before the throne was a ball of fire, great balls of fire, so fierce and glowing he could scarcely bear to gaze upon it. His first thought was that Oz had by accident caught on fire and was burning up. "I'm burning up for your love." But when he tried to go nearer, the heat was so intense that it singed his whiskers, and he crept back tremblingly. I can't believe I can't say this word. Tremblingly. Did you ever have that you read a book and then there's a word? I'm not going to do it over. Tremblingly. All right. He crept back tremblingly to a spot nearer the door. Then a low, quiet voice came from the ball of fire, and these were the words it spoke. "I am Oz, the great and terrible. Who are you, and why do you seek me?" And the lion answered, "I am a cowardly lion, afraid of everything. I came to you to beg that you give me courage, so that in reality I may become the king of beasts, as men call me." "Why should I give you courage?" demanded Oz. "Because of all wizards, you are the greatest and alone have power to grant my requests," answered the lion. Ooh, the ball of fire burned fiercely for a time, and the voice said, "Bring me proof that the Wicked Witch is dead, and that moment I will give you courage. But as long as the witch lives, you must remain a coward." The lion was angry at this speech, but could say nothing in reply. And while he stood silently gazing at the ball of fire, it became so furiously hot that he turned tail and rushed from the room. He was glad to find his friends waiting for him, and told them of his terrible interview with the wizard. "What shall we do now?" asked Dorothy sadly. "There is only one thing we can do," returned the lion, "and that is to go to the land of the Winkies, seek out the Wicked Witch, and destroy her." "But suppose we cannot," said the girl. "Then I shall never have courage," declared the lion. "And I shall never have brains," added the Scarecrow. "And I shall never have a heart," spoke the Tin Woodman. "And I shall never see Aunt Em and Uncle Henry," said Dorothy, beginning to cry. "Be careful," cried the green girl. "The tears will fall on your green silk gown and spot it." So Dorothy dried her eyes and said, "I suppose we must try it, but I'm sure I do not want to kill anybody, even to see Aunt Em again." Bitch, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And this wicked witch ain't a nice witch anyway. Like Oz said, she's evil. But it kind of sucks anyway that they have to go on yet another journey. Another journey. Okay, they're going on another journey. Okay, but they gotta do what they gotta do. Poor Dorothy. So much trauma for a child. But who doesn't have that right in their lives? Okay. I will go with you, but I'm too much of a coward to kill the witch, said the lion. I will go too, declared the scarecrow, but I shall not be of much help to you. I am such a fool. I haven't the heart to harm even a witch, remarked the Tin Woodman, but if you go, I certainly shall go with you. Okay, comrades, let's do this. Therefore, it was decided to start upon their journey the next morning, and the woodman sharpened his axe on a green grindstone and had all his joints properly oiled. The scarecrow stuffed himself with fresh straw, and Dorothy put new paint on his eyes that he might see better. The green girl, who was very kind to them, filled Dorothy's basket with good things to eat, maybe some green candy and green popcorn, and fastened a little bell around Toto's neck with a green ribbon. They went to bed quite early and slept soundly until daylight, when they were awakened by the crowing of a green cock that lived in the backyard of the palace, and the cackling of a hen that had laid a green egg. Well, it's not laying the golden egg, which is, from Willy Wonka's The Chocolate Factory. Okay, that was good. Not gonna lie. I mean, listen, I gotta be honest with you. It's not exactly like the book, because like the movie, but okay. These kids, there's so many trials and tribulations just to, get a heart, courage, and friggin' brains, and to come home. But right, isn't that the journey of life, right? That's the point of our dreams, visions, and goals. As I said during the read, there are no things as a free lunch. And that's the same thing with you attaining your goals, whatever your goals may be. Now, your goals may be to shed some weight. What do? You got to eat right. You got to exercise. You got to get yourself in the place of, I'm going to do this. And when I say shed weight, I'm not talking about becoming model skinny, okay? I'm not talking about that. So we just do it for health reasons. Or maybe your choice is, I'm, in shape, but I could use a little bit more healthier eating, right? But you've got to make the attempt. Or perhaps doing this work that we're doing, the journey within ourselves, the spiritual work to get yourself to find inner peace and calm and serenity. This all goes with the trials and tribulations. You don't get it for free. You can't just snap your fingers and things appear. Yeah, there are people that have things because of nepotism, but it doesn't mean that they don't have other things that, can prevent them from having, something else. Because just because you get it easy, my friends, doesn't also mean that you appreciate it more. And I think that's interesting. I didn't think about that, especially with this book. This group, this gang, they have their goals, they have their visions and dreams, but they're working for it, and they're plotting through, and they're actually plotting in the sense of they're actually making a plan. They've gotten through the river, they've gotten through the poppy field, like all this stuff, and they've also been helped along the way. But because they've done the work and are staying positive and staying focused and staying in a faith-based kind of mindset, saying this is what we got to do, they're being helped. And let's think about our own lives in the sense of when we've had a vision or goal or dream and that we've accomplished, and think about what was your mindset when you were working on it? Were you making a plan? And I'm not talking sometimes you step in shit, which means it's good luck, for the Italians, everything's good luck. It's if a bird shits on your head, it's good luck. If you step in shit, it's good luck. There's all these good luck things. So anyway, I think that's a lot of cultures. Anyway, the point is this. Sometimes something comes to you like this. Do you really appreciate it as much as you would if you had worked for it? And these kids are working for it. In the defense of Oz, he's right. You got to do something for me. I can't just be using my magic, because remember, it's a source of energy. And so he's saying, why should I do this for you? Why should I give something to you? I don't know you from Adam. It's not like you live in my friggin' city. It's not like you're paying taxes. So at the end of the day, it's once again reciprocity. He is asking them to do something above and beyond. But let's think about it. When you desire something so strongly, you will do what you need to do. And I don't mean this in a sinister, insidious way. You do what you need to do. You take the steps necessary to get where you need to be, and you keep that focus. And you're like, well, you know what? This is not the easiest goal, but I know that I have to. I'm an actor singer. I started when I was 10. Did I do it for the past 40 years? No, I was in and out of the business, but I had to take tap dancing lessons, singing lessons, acting lessons, pay for headshots. My parents invested, as a kid, a lot of money. and even as an adult. And I'm back in the business, but the point is this. There's no guarantee, but I know that that's what my purpose or my soul's journey is to be a performer of some sort, whatever that is. But the thing is, I invested a lot of time. I took a lot of discipline. Trust me, when I was 15, I booked a gig on As the World Turns for 2 days, right? And I was in show choir at high school, and we booked a gig to perform on a cruise ship. And do you know, I booked a 2-day stint. It was my first TV gig with lines and everything. I played Roxy Simpson on As the World Turns. It was 1984. I was 15. And it was the same week that the filming was the same week I was supposed to go on the cruise. So I had to make the decision, like, what's more important to me? Do I want to go on a free cruise and perform with a bunch of people that, I'm friendly with? Or do I go and do what my love is? Or, I love both. But I had to make the big girl decision. And that's the thing with all of us. We have to make decisions all the time about what's our focus, what's our goal, what's our vision, what's our dreams, and what we need to do to get to where we need to be. And right here, Oz is proposing to them, I can do this for you, but you got to do something for me. And it's going to be another journey. And that's the thing. They have to take the steps. Now, they don't know what they're going to do. They don't know how they're going to kill the witch. I don't even think they know where the frig they're going, right? But they know that this is part of the journey to get whatever they desire. And instead of fighting it, even though Dorothy at first is like, I don't know, but the lion's like, we gotta go. They're in it together, which basically we talked about. Each one is an aspect of Dorothy's mind, body, spirit, right? The brains, the courage, the heart, the desire, and basically that's like all of us. It is the journey, the journey of Oz is the journey into yourself. You have all these things if you choose to call upon them. You already have courage because each and every day you get the frig up to do what you need to do, especially during this very tumultuous and bleak time. You have the brains. You know what you want to do and you know what you need to do. And then you also have the heart. Because when you love something, you're like, I'm going to do it. So you already have these qualities within you. Don't let anybody tell you you don't. And don't let society or anything tell you differently that you can't. Because if you do have the heart, the brains, and the courage, and the willingness to commit and have the discipline to commit to yourself and to your dreams, visions, and goals, you can accomplish them. But you may say, Rosie, I've been trying and it hasn't happened. Hello, I know. But I will tell you this, if you stay open to the possibilities and keep your faith and just trust in your journey, you don't know what you're going to stumble upon. So now these kids they're being deterred, right? They're being deterred to another path, right? They're just like, okay, so now we have to go this way. But it's in the process of the journey of who they are becoming. Just like you. Who are you becoming while you're following your dreams, while you're doing the work, which we all know doing this inner work ain't pretty. So I just want to encourage you to think of, it's not just about the end goal. We can't look at our end goal and say, when I accomplish this, when I have this, or when I look a certain way, or when I feel a certain way, I'm going to be happy. No, it's about doing the work and trusting who you are and finding the happiness, joy, peace, and serenity and calm right here, right now within. Now, I've said this before and I will say it again. I'm not talking about if you are in an actual clinical depression. So this is not to make anybody who is right now in a clinical depression. That's different. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. That is, and I've been in depression. So I know hearing these words might be like, well, I just don't want to hear that. And that's fine too. So what I just want to encourage you, if you are facing clinical depression or you're in a place where you need help, then I'm going to say, please find the help, whether it's finding a therapist, going to a psychiatrist, whatever you need. I'm very big on this because having depression and also having sometimes mental illness, no matter how much work you're doing on yourself, sometimes you do need help chemically with medication and of course talk therapy. So I'm not diminishing that. Okay, so I'm going to get off of that tear because I just went down a different path. So please know that I support whatever you need for your mental well-being. Now, getting back to if you're just, you don't have any clinical depression, but you're just not finding the joy. And the thing is, it is hard. We've been cooped up for months. Listen, I live alone. I live alone. Thank God I have wonderful friends and an amazing mother. I speak to my mother multiple times a day. We're codependent, but she lives in Jersey. And, she's a cute little Italian woman. And you know what? We have a very close relationship. And she's 81 and I'm 50. It's never going to change. But I'm grateful for all my friends and especially my mother. I'm grateful for that each day I can get up and have someone to reach out to. But I do find the joy in doing this, sharing what I feel I can do and help the purpose. I could sit on the couch all day, which I do sometimes. And that's okay too. So let's be kind to ourselves. But I'm choosing to take my time and do things that I think can be helpful, not only to others, but to myself. So what I'm trying to say is, please don't look outside of yourself to find the joy and the happiness and the peace and the calm. It is already within you if you choose to focus on already what you do have. Does not mean you should not have visions and goals and dreams and to shoot for something more. Oh, hell no. You should. You came here to follow your soul's purpose. And once again, if you don't know what that purpose is, it's okay. It's okay. But that's what I'm saying. Be open to the possibilities. Just keep doing you, boo. And understanding that everything that comes to you is an opportunity. But you also have the choice to say yes or no. And that comes to the power of discernment. So you discern, what am I going to do? Am I going to choose to do this? Like these kids, either they don't do anything, they're shit out of luck, they leave Oz and they go live somewhere, I don't know, doing what, I don't know. They really don't have a choice. But they could have just been like, screw this. You know what? Let's just do our lives. Let's hang out. We can go back and do something else. I don't know, go live in the friggin' forest. They really can't. But the point is this, they know that they have to accomplish a goal, just like all of us. Each and every day, the goal could be that you just getting out of bed and finding a reason to smile. And that's okay. Because let me tell you, this is not the time to be hard on yourself. This is a very, very scary time for everybody. So be nice and gentle to yourself. I will constantly say that, and give yourself as much love and as much care as you can. And if you need help, you ask for it. We've talked about it. We've talked about it. When you need something, you need to ask for it. That's the point. So I think, what's interesting is these kids have gone in on the journey. They've put the work. They've asked for help. But Oz is like, they ain't no free lunch. You got to do this for me and I'll give you what you want. You got to earn it. And that's like anything else in our lives. So I just want you to think about what it is you're looking towards, working towards, whether it's inner peace, whether it's a physical goal with health or exercise or what have you, or just your physical shape of shedding 5 pounds. I don't care what it is. Point is, think about what you need to do to accomplish this goal, especially finding the strength during this time, because it's in you, my friends. You already have this all within you. You already have a brain. You already have heart, and you already have courage, and you are given the opportunity each and every day to utilize those gifts. So I'm just going to encourage you to utilize those gifts. All right, my friends, I went off on a bunch of tears. Ooh, good. Nelly. Honestly, I don't know where that all came from, but it must have, I needed to hear it. Well, I needed to hear it too. So anyway, my friends, I'm wishing you a most blessed day. I'm sending you a lot of light, a lot of love, a lot of peace, and a lot of calm. And knowing that right here, right now, you are not alone. Trust me, you are not alone in this. And that someone, and I'm going to keep saying it, someone is thinking of you right now. And someone does love you. And even if you feel that someone doesn't, someone loves you. They do. And if you love somebody and they haven't heard from you in a while, call them. Text them. That's all I'm going to say. All right, my friends, stay beautiful, stay blessed, and all that good stuff. And make magic just by being you. Ciao.